Okay, página 140. We started on this yesterday, and I want to just go over it really quickly, do some exercises. Okay, so let's look at exercise number 10 on 141. So remember yesterday we talked about expressions with the infinitive. Remember, the infinitive is the verb before you drop off the endings and conjugate it. So it has ER, IR, or AR still on the end of it. So we had tener que, whenever you have to do something. If you have something, you don't need que and you don't need the infinitive. Like, I have $10. Tengo $10. But anytime you have to do something using another verb, you have to have que in there. Tener que. It's like, and then ir a, I am going to do something. Yo voy a comer bananas y crema de cacahuate, bananas and peanut butter. Yo voy a explicar la tarea. I'm going to explain the homework. And then acabar de, remember that one? That one was kind of the awkward one. It's like the word just in English. And you can't look at the literal translation because it looks a little discombobulated. So I just ate breakfast. Acabo de comer el desayuno. Acabo de comer el desayuno. Okay, so let's look at página 141, 141, ejercicio 10. Oh, let me put up the link to the Google Doc. Okay, so I just put up the link to the Google Doc. You can join me there, and we'll actually do these exercises on that page. So just scroll down past this, and we'll just do one. Okay. So Jared, you can take number 1, and Sydney number 2, and Addie number 3.
Oh, I don't have my laptop. I'm making breakfast.
So you're just listening.
Yeah.
I need your full undivided attention. This is why I don't make it an all online class, because it's too easy to zone in and out and to do things like make breakfast or eat breakfast or okay. But you have your book, right?
Yes, I have my book.
Okay. Well, I need you from here on out to be able to have your computer ready for the Google Docs. That way, you know, it's without. Okay. So I guess you can do number 1 orally. I'll type it down for you. And then Sydney, go ahead and do number 2, and Addie number 3. Okay, so Jared, yours says, después de las clases vas a ir a un café con tus amigos.
Wait. I'm confused. What are we doing?
Page 141, exercise number 10. Yours was number 1.
Am I supposed to answer?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Hey,
Figure out what
I'm here.
You're here.
Yeah, I had to join from my mom's because my laptop is really bad.
Okay, so let me put up the link. We're on page 141 in our texto, and I'll put up the link to the Google Doc for you. Yeah, I see you're on your mom's computer because you came up as Gina.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you can do number 4 on exercise 10. Once you join us on the Google Doc.
Okay, where? This
Page
one?
141, página 140.
Oh, I'm set to view only.
Oh, I think everybody is. Thank you for saying that. Yep, I don't think I opened it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me open that up. Because the whole folder is set to view only, so when I make up the new doc, it automatically sets it to view only. There we go. But nobody else said. I didn't see anybody. Let's see.
Here, wait a second. I'm going to be right back, okay?
Okay. We'll be waiting for you.
Just like not do anything.
Edit, Rachel can edit.
Did you set it to edit yet?
I'm in the process. I have to do everybody else at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. And then remember, you have to go out whenever I do that. So everyone will have to go back out of the doc and then come back in.
Yeah.
So you have to or refresh or whatever it is. Okay. So now everyone try typing once you come back in.
Yep, I can.
Okay.
Okay, so where's exercise 10?
So on the top of page 141. Expressions with infinitive. I'll do number 5 as an example. ¿Vas a enviar o recibir correos electrónicos? Yo voy a enviar to send. Okay. How come nobody else is typing?
Because I don't know where you are.
Page 141, exercise 10. Number 4 for you.
Never mind. Yeah, I thought you said it.
140.
Never mind.
141.
Okay, now I know what we're doing. Sorry, I was so...
Okay, Sydney's given her. Jared? Where are you, sir? I haven't heard your answer to your question.
Okay. Si voy a ir a un café con mis amigos.
What was your first word?
Sí.
And then the second one?
Voy.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Sí, voy a ir a un café con mis... Oops, I am right in the wrong...
Tomata means to eat or to drink, right?
Tomar? Yeah, but obviously when it says un refresco, a refreshment, so it's asking you drink.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jared says, sí, voy a ir a un café con mis amigos. Oh, my mouse pad is super sensitive. There we go. Y voy a regresar a casa. Muy bien. Okay. Addie, are you back with us? Okay. I guess not. Okay.
Wait, yeah,
I'm
I am,
looking.
sorry.
Oh, okay. Did you go out of the dock and come back in? I had forgotten to give you guys editing permission. So if you can't type, go out and come back in, or refresh or whatever.
Okay.
Do you just have to refresh, or you have to go out?
We had to. I just left.
Okay. Okay. Now look at ejercicio 11.
Okay.
Okay. Fingers. Okay.
So do we
Entrevista.
just write our answer to these questions?
Well, hold on. We'll work together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, don't look at my answers. I got messed up. Okay, number 11. Entrevista a una or un amigo. Okay, so interview. So entrevistar is to interview. Okay, so entrevistar equals interview. Okay. So entrevista a un amigo or a una amiga. Work with a classmate, interview each other, ask the following questions. Okay. So, Addie, ¿tienes que estudiar?
Sorry, what?
¿Tienes que estudiar? That's question number 1 on 11.
Okay. C? Wait.
See? And then you need to switch it to the yo form.
C. Yo tengo estudiar.
Okay. Don't forget the K in there. Because that's the whole I have to process of it. Sí,
Okay.
tengo que estudiar. Okay. Sydney, ¿tienes que prestar atención cuando la profesora habla? First of all, what is this question asking?
Do you have to pay attention when the teacher is talking?
Yeah, muy bien, muy bien.
So, would it be si tengo que prestar atención?
Sí, muy bien, perfecto. Perfecto, sí, tengo que prestar atención. So the whole thing here is really just changing the forms of the verb, making sure you understand to change it to the yo form. Okay, Emma, ¿tienes que leer y escribir mucho en clase?
Okay, we'll wait. Let's see. Sí, yo tengo que leer y no.
Leer.
How do you say that in the yo form?
No, you
Like
wouldn't switch it.
how do you pronounce it? Like leo?
Yeah, but you're not going to switch it to the yo form because you can't have two conjugated verbs side by side. One will be a conjugated verb, the other one will be infinitive. Okay? Because it's tengo que, and then you have to use the infinitive. So you're going to leave that in the infinitive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And just make sure the verb is actually leer. It's not, so you're going to hear
Leer.
both of those E's. Remember, every strong vowel gets its own sound. So if there's two of them, you're going to give both of them their own separate sound. So leer, leer.
Okay. So
Y Jared?
so then,
Okay, good.
huh?
Go ahead, finish up.
Okay, so sí, yo tengo que leer y escribir mucho en clase.
Muy bien. Okay, Jared, número 4. ¿Tienes que llevar uniforme a la escuela? Número 4, ejercicio 11.
Yo no tengo que llevar uniforme.
Uniforme. Remember, You only says u. It never says the hard, you. It always says u. Muy bien. Muy bien. If you would have said sí, I would have questioned your motives. But again, hey, we can answer however we want to. I don't care as long as your answer is correct grammatically. It's sound according to language. You're good. ¿Que tienes que recibir notas buenas? Sí, por supuesto tienen que recibir notas buenas. You guys need to, yeah. I do too. Okay, ejercicio 12. Sigue el modelo. Sigue is follow. Okay, seguir is the verb to follow. So sigue el modelo. Follow the model. So it gives you two different verbs and little sentence pieces. So look at the example. So it says ver la televisión, to look at the television, and trabajar, to work. So no vamos a ver la televisión porque tenemos que trabajar. Muy bien. Okay, we're not going to watch television. I don't know if they're using ver as watch, but ver is usually to see. Mirar is usually to watch. So I don't know if they've changed. You don't see you see it, but you generally watch the television. Es muy interesante. Okay, let me just tell you something about televisión. Televisión, okay, that's the actual programming. La televisión, that's the programming. If you're talking about just like the TV set itself, then it's el televisor. Okay, so el televisor is the actual television. And so in Spanish, they don't say we watch el televisor because you're not actually just watching the box. You would buy un televisor, right? You would buy a television and you would mover el televisor. You would move the television. But when you actually watch, they differentiate in the fact that you're actually watching the programming that's on the television and not just the television box, Unless you're sitting in the living room and it's turned off and you're just staring at it, then I might ask you, miras el televisor, you're watching the television, but so that's
you're watching for it's
yeah.
Intense,
And the same thing with radio, okay? So, but it's just a slight difference. So radio is el radio, is the actual radio itself. Most people don't just usually have a radio. It's usually more of a stereo anyways, right? You usually have a player. I don't know if anybody has CD players. My old one on the shelf still has songs on it. But a lot of times everything's electronic nowadays. But back when you had just the radio, el radio was the actual apparatus, right? That was the radio box. And then la radio is the programming that's on. So you just change it from el to la to differentiate between the actual apparatus versus the programming on that apparatus. So el is the actual radio box, la is the programming. Okay. So let's do number 1, por ejemplo, one example. So escuchar un CD, estudiar. Okay, so what could we say? Escuchar un CD. Escuchar, ¿qué es escuchar?
Listen.
to listen, okay? And estudiar, obviously, is to study. So we're not going to listen to a CD because we're studying, or we are going to listen. My kids tell me that listening to music just helps them study. And they put their headphones on and they blast it, and it just, me, I need like absolute quiet. I don't want to listen. I don't want to see.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
like
wanna
your
hear
kids. I
anything.
need music when I'm studying.
Okay, so you might say, yo escucho un CD porque estudio. Okay, or yo voy a escuchar. I'll write it here on the Google Doc. So it wants you to add voy a on the first part, and then tener que. Okay, so say voy a escuchar. Actually, I think it wants you to use nosotros form for all of them because it switched it to. Okay, so vamos a escuchar un CD. Terrible. Vamos a escuchar un CD porque tenemos que estudiar. Hopefully we can agree on whatever we're going to listen to, right? We're studying together. Generally, if you're going to study together, I mean, just being in a group, you wouldn't necessarily have music on. Ever done a group study session?
No.
I don't think we've ever put music on anytime you do a group study session because you're talking, you're always throwing ideas around. But we'll run with that. Okay. So Jared número 2, Sydney número 3, Adi número 4 y Emma número 5. So go ahead and write those down here. Okay, Jared, you can give me yours orally and I'll type it in.
Is it, wouldn't it be teléfono?
Teléfono?
Teléfono? 'Cause when you speak by telephone, that makes more
Yeah,
sense.
we're going to talk by phone. Yeah, or talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And ver, we're going to see they must be using ver as to watch. Or if you see, well, like you could say, I saw a really interesting documentary or I could say I watched, and it means the same thing, right? So, and people say I'm going to see a movie. Generally, I don't know, I'm going to watch a movie. I guess it can be used interchangeably, but whenever I ever heard watch the television, it always used to be mirar la televisión, not ver la televisión. So I guess maybe things are changing. Okay, so your answer to Jared would be? We are or we are not going to speak on the telephone?
We are.
Okay, so tell me how to say that.
Huh?
So tell me how we're going to say that.
Wait.
We are going to talk on the telephone.
Okay.
Oh.
Nosotros.
Because well, let's first make sure it makes sense. We're going to talk on the telephone and watch a program important because we have to watch an important program, or maybe we're not going to talk on the telephone. That might be difficult to talk on the telephone and actually pay attention to an important program.
So if we're not talking on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you say, like, I can't or I cannot?
No puedo. No. P-U. P-E-U. P-U-E-D-O. Puedo. But I want you to use the expression voy a. So just kind of stick to the model there. Okay, Jared,
I don't know how I would do this one then.
what do you want to what do you want to say?
Well, like something like I can't go to the, what did it say it was?
To the party.
The fiesta because I have to study for.
Yeah. So say, I am not going to go to the party because I have to study for an exam. You're a dedicated student there.
Okay.
Okay, Jared?
No vamos a hablar.
Remember, no vamos a hablar.
No vamos a hablar por teléfono porque vamos a ver un programa importante.
¿Y qué programa es?
¿Mm?
¿Qué programa es?
Programa es importante. Yeah.
¿Cuál programa? Which program? What's important?
I don't know how to say that.
Election results or un
Like
documentario sobre la guerra mundial, a documentary on the World War I, El Guerra Mundial.
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe it's something for class. A lot of times you have to watch stuff for class.
Yeah.
No vamos a hablar por teléfono porque vamos a ver un programa. And notice it says un programa. That's not a typo. That's one of those few exceptions where a word ending in a is actually masculine. Un programa, just like el agua, or la mano. Mano ends in o, but it's a feminine, the hand, la mano. Okay. And number 4, who was that? Addie, are you unable to type still? Or are you still with us, Addie?
Oh, I typed on 6.
What's that?
I typed
you
on
did
6.
it on.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's okay.
I was like, what?
You did it on 6. I don't see 6.
Oh, I just erased it.
Oh, okay. There you go. Sorry. I couldn't see 6. I hadn't scrolled down that far. Okay. So I'm going to, or I'm not going to talk because I have to listen. So most likely you're not going to talk because listening and talking are hard to do at the same time. So I would say, how would I say I am not going to talk? Okay, so that's that whole ir a, they're wanting us to use that ir a. Okay, yo voy a nadar porque tengo que hacer ejercicio. I'm going to swim because I need to, I have to exercise. Voy a nadar porque tengo que hacer ejercicios. Okay, so no voy, if you're going to do it in the yo form, I'm not going to talk because I have to listen. No voy a hablar. Okay, and then because, porque. Okay. And I have to listen. So I have to do something. Tengo que. Oh, my computer's been so nice until now. I forgot. This is why I don't use this computer. It's usually very noisy. And it overheats. I think we'll be all right. Okay. Porque tengo que estudiar. So if you look at, let's see, Emma, you're number 5, right?
Yep.
So, porque tengo que. So look at your sentence. You said because I'm not going. So voy a ir. No voy a ir. I am not going to go to the party
Oh.
because I have to. And so now look at your second half. Because I have to, I study. It has to be the infinitive that follows it. Remember, we can't have
yeah.
2 conjugated verbs side by side. It doesn't make any sense if you actually look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me voy
I
a
see.
ir a la fiesta porque tengo que estudiar para un examen. Muy bien. Okay. Let's look at página 144. Página, and yours was perfect, Sydney. Perfecto. Let's look at página 144. 144. Al teléfono. Okay, so in the first set of boxes, I'll have Jared and Addie read, and then the second set will be Emma and Sydney, and then we'll go back to Jared and Addie for the third set. Okay? And go ahead and start now. Jared?
Which one am I doing?
You are Diego. You're doing the first box and the last box, and you'll be Diego. And Addie will be Adela.
Heck, what page are we on then? Heck?
144. 144.
Aha. Found
Aha.
it. So, am I just saying it?
Yeah, you're gonna, we're gonna read it. You're gonna go back and forth, like the conversation.
Okay. Hola, Adela. ¿Qué hay?
No mucho, Diego. Acabo de comer y voy a ver la tele.
¿La tele? ¿No tienes tareas?
Sí tengo, pero esta noche no muchas.
Okay, so what's going on in that first box?
Are they talking about the phone? I
Not
think.
the phone. They're talking about the la tele. So that's
the
short.
tele.
So instead of saying television, most of the time we say what? We say TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same kind of thing. So la tele, just like bicicleta. Short for bicicleta is what?
English or Spanish?
Bici. No, I'm sorry. In español, bici. So bicicleta. Just like in English, we say bike. Not bike. Most people don't say I'm going for a bicycle ride. I'm usually going for a bike ride, right? So in Spanish, bicicleta becomes bici. Motorcycle, motocicleta becomes moto. Okay, so same here. Televisión becomes tele, not tele.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, is she eating while she watches the television?
Well, what does she say about eating?
She just finished eating.
She just ate.
Oh.
She just ate, yeah. So careful with the word finish. The word finish actually isn't in there. It kind of, we get that. In English we say, yeah, I just finished eating, or I just, but it's more like I just ate. Or I just,
Alright.
so just use it for the word just. Okay. So acabo de comer y voy a ver. So what does she say about the television? Voy a ver la tele. I'm going to watch. Voy a ver. I'm going to watch television. Okay? And then he questions her motives, right? Well, he says, the television? Don't you have homework? ¿No tienes tareas? You don't have homework? You don't have assignments, actually. In this case, I would say, don't you have homework or don't you have assignments? Either one would work here. And then what her response is?
Not much. I'll do it at night.
I have it. Pero esta noche, but tonight, this night. So they say this night. We say tonight, which doesn't make any sense. But she says, but this night, not much. Not many, right? No muchas, not many assignments. Pero esta noche, no muchas. So there's no verb. There is no verb. I don't know why. I guess just so that you know that's the end of that part she's saying, but that is not a sentence. Sí tengo, that's a sentence. Pero esta noche no muchos, that's not actually a complete sentence. But this night, not much. There's no verb in there. Okay, so go ahead, Emma and Sydney.
Sydney, do you want me to be Diego?
Yeah.
Okay. Yo tengo que navegar el internet para buscar información sobre Simón Bolívar.
Bolívar. So notice where the accent is at. Bolívar. Información. Remember, A always says A. O always says O. E says E. U says U. S says E. There's only one sound. So información. Sometimes, like I said, we like to superimpose our Anglicism onto the language, because especially when words with cognates, right? Okay, go ahead, Sid. Sorry.
Es para tu clase de histórica.
Historia. Historia. Remember, H is silent.
No para mi clase de español. Pues Adela, tú acabas de comer. Yo no y tengo mucha hambre.
Entonces, ¿por qué no comes algo?
Okay. So what's Diego doing in this picture? What's he saying he's doing?
He's looking on the internet for information about Simon Bolivar.
Yeah, Simon Bolivar. So he hasn't done it yet, right? Because he says, tengo que. I have to surf. Navegar, navigate, or surf. We would more so say surf. Yo tengo que navegar en el internet para buscar, in order to look for information about. Sobre would be about Simon Bolivar. She asks what?
Is it a part of your history class?
Is it for? Okay. Is it for? Es para? Is it for? Tu clase de historia. Muy bien. And he answers no.
It's my Spanish class.
Uh-huh. And then he says, okay, well, Adela, pues is well. Tú acabas de comer. You just ate. And what does he say about himself? Yo no, I haven't. Y tengo mucha hambre, and I am very hungry. She says, well, then, why don't you eat something? ¿Por qué no comes algo? Okay, Jared and Addie, go ahead and take over again.
Buena idea, creo
Idea.
Idea. Creo que voy a comer
Comer.
una empanada.
Pues siempre tengo buenas ideas, ¿no?
¿Cómo no? Adela, adiós y hasta mañana.
Chao, Diego. Hasta mañana.
Okay. So she's taking credit for giving him the idea to go eat, right? It's like, why did you call me if you were hungry anyways? Little awkward conversation here, right? But it's just trying to use the vocabulary and do that kind of thing. So it almost looks old school. I mean, they're sitting around like they were stuck to a phone. It was the cutest thing. So I have a little kids class that meets in my home, and I have a landline. I don't know how many of you still have a landline. So I have a landline at my house.
Is it a corded landline?
No, it's not corded. It is cordless. But it kept ringing, and then the answer machine would come on because I wouldn't answer it while I was teaching them class, and it did it like 3 times. And the little girl every time she's 5. She was just absolutely just like, wow, what is that? And I couldn't figure it out. And then I finally figured it out. I'm like, I looked at the mom. I said, you don't have a landline, do you? She's like, no. So she kept hearing the answer machine coming on, and she couldn't figure out what was going on, why those people were talking, how we could hear them. It was the funniest thing. That just shows you how time marches on. Whereas, growing up, my grandma had the phone. I guess it's called a rotary phone, where you'd stick your finger in and you move it all the way around, and then you find the next number and stick your finger in and move it all the way around. Anybody ever seen or used one of those?
I have.
My grandma has one. It doesn't work. We still used it. It was fun.
She still uses it?
No. She had one, but it was more just for decoration, but we still messed with it.
Okay.
My aunt has one and she uses it.
Well, my grandparents had it to the day they died, and I don't think they ever upgraded to cordless. That's been about 7, 8 years ago that my grandpa passed. Maybe 6, 7 years ago that my grandpa passed. So up until his passing, it was still attached to the wall with a cord, with a rotary dial. It was the coolest thing. Very interesting. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how it worked. I don't think it was touch. I don't know. It was really very interesting. Telephones have come a long way. So I will tell you, we got our first microwave when I was like 12 years old, and they were huge, and they were very expensive. The first video recorders came out when I was young. All these things that you guys, I mean, now you guys have DVR, and you have, I mean, record something on a tape. What's that? So it's very interesting how much technology has changed. I listen to 8-tracks. Anybody know what 8-tracks are? The precursor to the cassette tape. I mean, you guys hardly know what cassette tapes are. Yeah, so it's amazing.
I know what that is, but I don't know what the other thing is.
What was that again?
I know what a cassette tape is.
Yeah, no, I figured you guys knew what a cassette, but do you know what an 8-track is?
That's one thing I do not know what that is.
Yeah, it's similar technology to the cassette, but much larger. Maybe 4x6, like a 4x6 photo. That would be the size of a 8-track, and you plug in. It's very interesting. You only plug in one end.
My grandma still has like shelves of VHS tapes.
Yeah. Well, does anybody even know what beta is?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
Yeah,
it's a smaller tape. It's a smaller tape than the VHS, and they came out at the same time. And it was kind of the rivalry. It was kind of like the BlackBerry versus the Apple phone. And, remember, BlackBerry was like the hottest, and then Apple came along and just whoosh, came in and stole the whole market on it for the most part. And that was the same kind of thing with Beta. Beta just slipped into anonymity. Most people like at your age, you know what a VHS, because your family still might have VHSs, or you might have watched a VHS when you were tiny, But as mine did it.
My family used to have one, and we got rid of it. Sadly.
Yeah,
Ugly. They're big, So when it came to CDs and DVDs, okay, they weren't affected by the sun. You could leave them in the sun. You could, so you left a cassette or a VHS in the sun, and boy, they were toast. They were toasted, and they were very fragile, and the tape would rip, and man, it was just a big mess. So, scratching was no big deal compared to everything. So yeah, it's muy interesante. It's muy interesante. Okay, I'm gonna just read along with me. On página 146, and tell me what's going on. I'll read this paragraph. That looks so good. Okay, la comida en otras partes. Página 146. La comida en otras partes. La familia de José Luis Aparicio vive en Madrid, la capital de España. La familia de Catalina Ayerbe vive en Granada, Nicaragua. Okay, so we got two different families here. José Luis Aparicio, la familia Aparicio, que vive en Madrid, España, and la familia Ayerbe, que vive en Nicaragua. ¿Dónde está Nicaragua? ¿Dónde está Nicaragua?
Central America?
Centroamérica, muy bien. Nicaragua está en Centroamérica, muy bien. Okay. So, el desayuno, the breakfast. Por la mañana, cada familia toma el desayuno. Los Aparicio en España comen pan con mantequilla o mermelada. Y a veces comen churros. Los padres toman café con leche. Y José Luis y sus hermanos toman chocolate caliente. Los Ayerbe en Nicaragua también comen pan con mantequilla o mermelada. Y un plato muy popular es el gallo pinto, una combinación de arroz con frijoles. Mucha gente come gallo pinto con huevos para el desayuno y beben un jugo de una deliciosa fruta tropical. Okay, so we're contrasting la familia Aparicio y la familia Ayerbe. Okay, so what do they eat that is the same for breakfast?
Churros. Toast with butter and marmalade.
Yeah, so toast with butter and jam. So they both eat that. Okay, and then we didn't say anything about what they drink, so I would assume they probably drink coffee in Nicaragua también. They mentioned it in España. And hot chocolate. Usually that's something I drink before bed, but, you know, maybe for breakfast. But what is it different? What's the specialty plate of Nicaragua that los Ayerbe come?
Pinto.
Gallo pinto. Okay, so gallo is actually chicken. Okay, a male chicken, gallo, and pinto, but it actually has nothing to do with chicken, right? It's arroz con frijoles, so beans and rice. So it's a very common breakfast dish in Nicaragua. And I confirm my students. I had students the last 2 years that their parents were born and raised in Nicaragua, and they're like, oh, gallo pinto, gallo pinto. They just, you know, it's a big, you know, thing in their family. So es verdad, gallo pinto. In Mexico, you just call it frijoles y arroz, but gallo pinto. And then, of course, a tropical fruit juice is going to be very common in Nicaragua porque es un país tropical, right? It's a tropical country.
Mm-hmm.
Muy bien. El almuerzo, lunch. Los Aparicio y los Ayerbe no regresan a casa a tomar almuerzo. Okay, so they don't return home for lunch. Okay, back in the day when I was young, a lot of families, if they lived close enough, everybody lived pretty close to work. People would come home on their lunch hour to eat lunch. Or remember, we were talking about the Spanish siesta, that it was very common for especially the smaller outlying areas that they shut down the city or they shut down the town, and everybody has siesta. Everything's closed for 2 hours. So that's why. But los Aparicio, do they live in a small city? The Aparicio family, no, they live in Madrid, okay, la capital. So Madrid es una ciudad muy grande, okay. Es una ciudad muy grande. It's a very big city. Okay, so they don't return to house to eat. Los jóvenes, the young people, comen en la cafetería de la escuela o en un café o cafetería cerca de la escuela o en un puesto, a stand, o tenderete de comida, a stand. Tenderete would be Mexican stand. Para el almuerzo comen simplemente una pizza o un bocadillo. En España comen a veces una tortilla a la española. No es como una tortilla mexicana. Es un tipo de omelette de patatas, cebolla y huevos. A veces Catalina y sus amigos comen carne asada con arroz y frijoles o unas bocas como tostones con queso. So what's an area-specific food that you might eat in Spain? So en España comen a veces una tortilla a la española. Okay? So una tortilla a la española is not, it's not like the Mexican tortilla. Why? That's what it's right there in that picture. Okay, because it's patatas. What are patatas?
Potatoes.
Cebolla. It says down at the bottom. Onion. And huevos. ¿Qué son huevos?
Eggs.
So it's like an omelet, like they say omelette. So it's sounds pretty good. It's an
That actually is.
it's a thick omelet. So see how they cut it up. So, and then Catalina, sometimes they eat carne asada, so roasted meat. You know, typical South American fare. Excuse me. Okay, and then tostones. Remember we learned tostones yesterday. Those are those fried plantains. Very common dish in Nicaragua. Okay, and then we finish up with la cena, dinner. Por lo general is an expression in general. Por lo general, for the general. And we would translate in general. Por lo general, los aparicio. Remember, there's los aparicio means the aparicios. In English, we would say the Smiths or the Browns. Okay, the Browns eat chicken and potatoes for dinner, and the Smiths eat, and that's where we'd say los aparicio or los ayerbe. Por lo general, los aparicio y los ayerbe cenan a casa. They usually eat at home. Cenan en casa. Pero, ¿a qué hora? At what time? ¿A qué hora? Remember we talked about this yesterday. I think it was you guys I talked. Maybe I didn't mention this to you guys. I think I did. When we were talking about nap time and stuff. They eat their main meal in the afternoon, and then they eat later at night. So, pues, en España, no cenan hasta las 10 o 10:30. Okay, 10 or 10:30. We're talking at night here.
Wait.
Dinner. Es muy tarde. En Nicaragua, como en otros países latinoamericanos, cenan a eso de las 8. At about 8. So tarde, muy tarde, right? What time do you guys eat? ¿A qué hora cenan tus familias?
I start like 6:30.
6:30. I try to serve mine by 6. My mother-in-law's gone to fixing 2 meals a day, because they're older and they have great grandma with them. And so they usually eat about 3:30, 4 o'clock. They eat their first meal at about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they have the second one about 3 or 4 o'clock, and then they're done for the day. So, yeah, I would say between 5 and 6:30 is your typical average American dinner time. Yeah, and that's our big meal, right? We eat our big meal at dinner time. Generally, lunch is a sandwich or something quick. Okay, so preguntas, no preguntas?
No preguntas.
No preguntas? Okay, I will get the homework listed up here in just a little bit. So, hasta lunes, clase.
Hasta lunes. Adiós.
Adiós.
Adios.
Bye.